welcome to another episode of Tiny Nest. I'm Kiva.
And I'm Jake. This series is following our tiny house project from the early stages through to completion and beyond.
This episode shows the finishing touches on our exterior siding. So when we were putting the siding up, we were often just butting the siding right up against the white trim, and it would leave these scuff marks from the stain. So what we're doing now is we're just sort of going around and sanding them down, and we'll do a touch-up paint before we put the caulking around.
We just finished up a wall and sanded off the scuffs that we made during the installation, and now we're just touching up the white trim with some paint.
All the places we had to face nail, we sunk the nails in so there was enough space for us to fill it with wood filler. Here's what it looks like with the filler, and here's what it looks like touched up with a bit of stain.
Alright, I'm ready to finish this off with the bottom piece. I've got it right here. And it's going to meet up with this bottom bug screen and make that closure. And all I need to do is fit the tongue into the groove, and then I'm going to pre-drill and use some stainless steel screws to bite into the very bottom of the framing here. I can get at it if I make the screw pretty high on the piece. So I'm just going to get that on there. Okay, I got the screws in on the ends, but just to give it a little bit more securing, I'll put a couple of face nails in as well. For every set of trim around every penetration and window and the corner trim and everything, once we've sanded off our scuffs and touched up the paint, then we can caulk around the whole thing. And so I'm going to do that now on this furnace penetration. Everywhere else we're caulking on the bottom. This one I just left because there's actually kind of a significant gap, just the way that the siding ended up, and it's really close to the bottom, so it's not really a big deal if a little bit of water were to find its way back behind there. We've run into a challenge sealing our siding. We're putting caulking in wherever the siding meets any trim, and we just grabbed this stuff off the shelf called Big Stretch, and it says it's good for doors, windows, and siding, but it also says in the fine print, convenient water cleanup. So it can be washed away by water if it's not sufficiently cured. And on the two end walls, it did have a fair bit of time and some pretty good weather to cure, and I'll show you some pictures of what it looks like right now. But on this back wall, it only had about a day and a half before it got a bit of sprinkling of rain. And then a few days after that, there was a massive downpour. And when we came out after that downpour, this is what we found. We tried touching up some spots and even used a hairdryer to try to force the cure to get started, but it's just way too humid at this time of year. There's no guarantee that we're going to be able to get this stuff to cure before it gets rained on. So we're going to try some different stuff. This says that it's all weather rated, and it can even be applied down to like -7 Celsius as long as there's no frost or moisture on the surface. And it is dry right now. The weather isn't looking great, but I'm going to try applying this and we'll see if it holds up better than the other stuff. And before applying this new stuff, I've gone around with a knife to try to get as much of the old stuff off as I can so that there's a consistent seam to lay the new bead down into. Alright, I've gone through the whole back wall and laid down a fresh layer of this all-weather stuff, and it was some pretty serious stuff. It comes out really thick and tacky, and is basically waterproof right from the get-go. And so I feel pretty confident with it. It's raining right now, and we've checked it after a couple days of rain, and it seems like it's holding up really well. The only thing is because there's still remnants of the old stuff on there, it looks pretty bad in some cases, but at this point we just need to get it watertight, and I think we've done that job.
If you want to see some of our previous videos, click on the preview tiles, and subscribe if you want to follow our progress. You can also visit our website here.
A bunch of shit on the lens.